So Louis, despite being so young, you had such an impressive season for Bar last season. So
Yeah.
what was it like for you getting that experience in men's football?
I think because it was my first time ever going to another club since joining Stevenage, because I joined Stevenage at under nines, so I've just been there throughout my whole career. So it's not been very different for me until I joined Potter's Bar, and it came up after obviously playing against you guys in the cup. So then I was like, I've already been there a few times, played there. I liked what's going on, the manager and that. Just sounded quite cool. Everyone around the club, and it had quite a young squad, so it quite appealed to me as a player to come along. And as soon as I joined, yeah, everything was just like everything went well. Players, staff, just welcomed me how I would need it as someone new.
Yeah, you joined right in the thick of everything going brilliantly.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it was just like I'm already halfway through my season, just have to jump straight in and go on board with what's going on because everyone's already in full flow.
Yeah, exactly. What was it like in the game that you did play against us? Because you guys looked very impressive as a young side against us.
Yeah, I think we wanted to set a standard against a men's side and just show like we can compete with the likes of Potter's Bar and give you a good result, a good game as well. Obviously we had a few older players in there as well, but we just wanted to like because that's step three is a kind of stage that at our career we want to kind of try and push into and get some minutes in. So everyone was trying to like show the manager for Posba, obviously Max and Liam, that we can play at that standard and get ourselves out there.
Yeah, and you were at the club soon after, weren't you? So I suppose you sort of knew.
Yeah,
Did you were you thinking
exactly.
after the game maybe I've got myself a move there?
Well, no, I never thought anything about it. I knew I had a good game, and me and Ori had a good battle throughout the game. He eventually scoring against me in the last minute, but it was a good battle throughout. I thought the game did go well, and both sides were very good, I thought. But I didn't think anything of it until I got back to Stevenage, and then they did say about potentially going there, and it was straight away. I was like, yeah, I'd love to do it.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah,
Just say, I wondered whether you think non-league football has benefited your sort of experience as a player and sort of your the quality standard that you're at.
yeah. Yeah, I definitely think so. I was reflecting after the season with my dad and that how well going on loan was playing against older people, people that have been all around the football game, like playing with the likes of Ricky, Lee, Brandon, who's been around and done it. So it's good to be around people that have actually had a career in the game already and like played high standards. So playing alongside them and playing against people like that and going around in like big stadiums. Because my first game was Horsham away, and that was chucking myself in the deep end straight away. And yeah, it was good experience from playing in the academy against like your parents that I was just watching. So yeah, it was a very good experience myself, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Horsham was a really difficult game, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that was my first game. That was my only loss, I think, because I got my stats back at the end of the season. I think we only lost one once when I was playing. There was 5 wins, 3 draws, and 1 loss, and that was my first game. Probably one of the hardest ones I had.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
They're a good side, Horsham.
yeah,
What was I going to say? What I found interesting, I was speaking to Hixie about an hour ago, and you've both mentioned the
yeah,
exact same. You both mentioned the same three players. So Lee, Brandon, and I can't remember the other, Ricky, the third one.
yeah.
Those three clearly play quite an important role in the dressing room. Then.
Yeah, I think because of just how they're the older ones in there, they kind of lead the team. And then because it's quite a young squad compared to the rest of the league that we played against, they have quite older players. But those three were probably the main like players that led the squad and set standards high, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely, and they do a good job of it, don't they?
Yeah, they're very good players as well. Yeah, so it's great to play alongside them.
Yeah, you said you've been at Stevenage for a long time. I suppose it
Mm.
sort of helps when you're trying to bed in at a new club when you've got so many familiar faces there. I know Hixie,
Yeah,
Riley Mitchell, and even Nick Mountford in
yeah,
the dugout at the time, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah. It was kind of like stepping into a place I already knew. I felt like because there's so many players that have been there. The club are quite connected, and me and Hixie obviously joined again. Hixie joined back at the same time as me, so it wasn't like going straight in with no one know. like no one you knew. So it was quite easy to just step in and just play how I play.
Yeah, I'm assuming it makes it easier to sort of adjust when you have got a few familiar places.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. What's it like working with Max? I mean, obviously he's willing to give all of these young players good opportunities.
Yeah, I think Max, yeah, he's a great coach. He gives the young players a go. So it's just great for players like me who are trying to get out step three. He's willing to give young players a chance. He trusts them, and he's not afraid to play them if he thinks they're good enough. And he said that to me. He plays players on based on performances, and for me, that's exactly what I want, because if you're playing well, you play. It's not about who he likes; it's about who plays well. And he just always gives people a chance, I think. So yeah.
Does that inspire you sort of to push yourself as well to try and get into that squad?
Yeah, exactly. That's if it's based on performances, players are going to want to try and push as hard as they can in training. That's why training standards are always so high there. I think I was very impressed with how training is. Everyone wants to get in that squad because he based it on performances.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to ask you about your dad because obviously your dad's had a very successful playing
Yeah,
career. So does it how does that sort of relate to you? I mean, obviously he's got a lot of good advice to feed back to you, right?
yeah, yeah, definitely. He's got so much advice. He's just there to support me along the way. He'll tell me what he thinks. I don't know. Ultimately, it's my decision at the end of the day. He allows me to make my own decisions because it's my career, but it's good to have him there as a role model, and he just basically guides me in what he did and just tries to put me on along the right path, tell me what I'm doing right, tell me what I'm doing wrong, and then yeah, we just work alongside each other very well, because obviously when I was younger, watching him and just looking up to him, how he did everything, he was very professional with everything he did, and he had a successful career. So I hope to like follow in his path.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're doing a good job so far, having worked your way through at
Yeah.
Stevenage, right?
Hopefully, yeah. Yeah, exactly. He's most parents holders there, so I've got a lot to live up to, but hopefully I can get there. It'll be a
Well, yeah,
big long way.
you can look at it either way, to be fair. I suppose you're a popular figure at the club just by being
Yeah,
there, really.
yeah, exactly. I just got to create my own path now. That's what you've been saying. Just do what you do. It's your career now.
Mm.
Don't let that get in the way and just push on.
And I suppose by making moves to other clubs like Bar, that does help.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So that was definitely one thing he said. He was up for it. He said, "Yeah, and definitely do it. It'll be definitely something that will help you in your career and develop something in your game that you haven't developed yet." And I think playing with men definitely develops a big part of my game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
The Cheshunt game, I was going to refer back to that. That was possibly
yeah,
one of your best games for the club. You were superb that
mm,
night, and so were the rest of the players, weren't they?
yeah, yeah. It was a great game. It was, I think it was my second game, wasn't it? Proper derby game. Under the lights, quite a cold night, but I knew the importance of getting 3 points there because Max, Liam, just wanting to get the win. Players just emphasised how big getting wins in games like that were, because we weren't too high in the table at that point, and we needed wins against some of the lower teams. But yeah, some of the goals were outrageous in that game, and I think it was probably one of the best performances of the team as well that we played.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were to a man superb. I was going to ask,
Mm.
how do you? Because obviously there was three Stevenage players. I mean, Hicksy has his own personal motivations in that
Mm.
game, obviously, but I guess it was Riley's debut as well. So for you two, how
Mm.
do you sort of gain the spirit of a derby, having been at the club for all of about 3 days?
Well, I just kind of just I'm always motivated to do well with myself, but because I knew Cheshunt is quite a derby game, it was just the feeling of the game before. Like you've got to win that one. It's no matter what in men's football, you've got to get 3 points. And me and Riley going into the game, we just felt it around in the changing room as well. Everyone wanted to win. It was just everything about it just motivated us to go out there and perform well.
Yeah, it was a massive step in the right direction to surviving as well,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah, because I think we went on an unbeaten run after that game for a long time until I think it was Dulwich, wasn't it? I think that
Yeah,
we
that's it.
lost.
That's it. We were on a
Yes.
lovely long run, but I
Yeah.
think I'm right in saying you weren't you remained unbeaten throughout your time, didn't you? I think you said that earlier.
Yeah, apart from the obviously the Horsham game that we lost. After that, yeah, unbeaten. Some good games, some standout ones. Probably playing at Bromley's home pitch, obviously for against Cray. That was a very good game, I think, that we edged out, and just experiences around big grounds like that. It's just been something that I'd love to do again, probably.
Yeah, and does playing in front of fans give you something different? I know you mentioned it's different to playing just in front of parents in academy games. So does it give you
Yeah,
something to think about?
yeah, I think so because of like it's like bringing like people that actually pay to come around and actually watch the team instead of it's just your parents. It's actually people that actually support the club, want the club to do well, and are always there. It's the same fans that always travel around and they actually do stuff for the club. Obviously, people like Simon and that are around the club that are doing a lot of stuff that for the club. So it's like you've got to pay them back with results.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the fact that you picked out Simon, by the way. Very behind the scenes on this.
Yeah, no, because me and Simon, I've known him since a long time ago because obviously his son used to work in Stevenage and he took me to the hashtag game that we were nearly late for, but he got me there on time and it was and he does a lot for me, so that's why I pick out Simon as well. Yeah,
I have no idea you had anything to do with Simon. There you go. Learn something new every day.
yeah, there you
Um,
go.
hashtag game was a good one, wasn't it? I suppose that was a good advert for the club.
Yeah, I think it was a slow start, but for me and the team, but it just shows what the club is like and what Max and Liam push for the club because we were struggling the first 10, 15 minutes and none of our heads dropped and we got straight back into it. And it was a good game because it was quite a out there team with all their media and that.
Your final game for the club was obviously the 6-1 game against Kingstonian against a slightly bigger crowd
Yeah,
league day as well.
yeah,
Pretty much the perfect way to bow out.
yeah. No, it was good. It was good. So big crowd at home. Great team performance. Obviously coming on, got an impact with in the build up to another goal, and it was probably the top of my experience, to be honest, getting a big win because we deserved thumping the team at some point, and it came with a big 6-1 at home in front of the fans. So I experienced kind of everything away, home, with big crowds, so and cold nights, sunny days, everything was in one. So it was quite a good experience in a short amount of time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and you said it there. You said earlier you want to do it again. So my last question is for you. Obviously, I know there's only so much you dictate it, but what would your
Yeah,
ideal plan for next season be?
not looking too far ahead because I don't want to predict too much because if you predict too much, then not everything comes true. But I'm probably just going to get ready for next season, keep fitness levels up, start with Stevenage, and then if an opportunity arises again for Potter's Bar or somewhere else, I'll definitely be looking. But definitely Potter's Bar will definitely have something over everyone else because I've been there. It's been so good. So if it comes again, yeah, I'll definitely join and get straight back into it where I left off.